Candy with eyes to Jesus.blogspot.com, and welcome as I give you a tour of my current planner setup. Now, if you haven't watched my previous planner tours, you should know that I keep my full home management binder in my planner. So I have my full home management binder in there. I've got my planner in there. I've got like my budget in there. I've got notes, everything. And this is probably the most everything planner setup I've ever had so far, because look at this chunky monkey. So this is what I'm currently in. It's not really that heavy because it is personal size, but it's pretty big. This is in the color taupe. And this is a personal size Moterm Versa. And I love the Moterm Versas. So that's what got me out of Franklin Covey Pocket and back into a standard personal size. I really like the Moterm Versas. So I have it here in taupe. I also have one in the mint color, and I also have one coming in black that's supposed to arrive later in the month. And I'm not interested in getting the white one. One of these in Croco might be kind of fun eventually down the road, if that exists. But I am loving it a lot in the taupe. And I spent a while in the mint, but I did get tired of the mint after a while, and the neutral color of the taupe is really nice. And then it'll be nice to have the black one when that arrives to add to my collection, because it's nice sometimes just to have a nice classic black planner. So as I said, in here is my full home management binder, and it's also my planner, and it is pretty much everything in this beauty. So the Moterm Versa has two little snaps here in the front, so that if you have it really stuffed like I do, you can have it on the looser snap, or if you have it thinner, you can have it on the tighter snap, which is really handy. And there is a full-size pocket here in the back, so you can take a regular sheet of a regular letter-size paper. You only have to fold it in half once and stick it in there. And I have several sheets of papers in there. I have some mail in there. I have some Bible study note pages in there. I have some papers from church in there. So I just stick all sorts of stuff in there. So I love that I can have a personal size planner, but I can put regular size pages in there when I need to. Or if I'm picking up mail when I'm on my way out, I can stick the mail in there to deal with when I get home. So yeah, let's go through all the pockets before we get into the main planner. So we have this big pocket here in the back. And then, when you first open it up, this is what it looks like on mine. Now, this binder slides in and out. Most people have the binder set so that it slides into the back pocket. I like mine so that my binder is set so that the front cover of the binder is actually slid here into the front pocket. And this is the leather fly leaf and pen loop that came with it. I think it sits better that way, and for how I use it, I like having it slid into the front pocket instead of the back pocket. So I have the front cover slid here into this pocket here. And then on these card slots here at the front, I have some tabs, extra little sticky notes, some flags, and then there's a little journaling card there. And then the Versa is awesome. It's got a built-in wallet section. So I open this up. It's held closed with snaps. And then go inside here, and inside this zipper pocket, which goes inside here, I have some change. And then in here is a side pocket where I keep a bit of spending cash. And then here are my main cards. And then at the top slot, I just have a folded piece of paper with some info on it that I like to keep with me. So let me just close that snap section up. And that's for the front part. Like I said, the front side pocket, I have the front cover for my binder slid into there. So let me scoot the binder out of the way so we can get to the back half of the planner. And then in the back slit pocket where most people slide in the back cover, I have a notebook slid in there, and we'll take a look at this notebook maybe a little bit later. But then we have more card slots back here. So I have this covered up because I keep my license in there, and then I have like a multi-tool type of thing here, washi card, a business card. This is a piece of paper with some confirmation numbers that I like to keep with me, and then up here I just have some Avery dots, Avery labels, and hole reinforcement stickers that I always have in my planners. And then in this side pocket here, I have a little plastic pocket I keep in there, which keeps some of my other cards, a few blank checks if I need it, some postage stamps. And in this other slip pocket here, I keep some extra filler paper for my planner. And then pens. I have 3 pens here. I have 1 pen in the pen loop on the fly leaf inside my binder, and this is just one of those multicolored pens, you know, green, blue, red, black. And then I have a mild liner highlighter. Right now I have the light blue in there, and I will change those around just as I feel like it. And then I have my main pen here. And these two are not in pen loops, they're just hooked onto the pocket here. And I love this main pen. It is my new current all-time ever favorite pen. This is the Sharpie Roller Pen 0.5 in the color black. And this is definitely taken the place of my most favorite pen ever. So if you haven't tried the Sharpie roller pens, the Sharpie roller pen in the 0.5 in the black, I can tell you is perfect. I love it a lot. Okay, so I have these two just, clipped into this little pocket here off to the side. So yeah, otherwise this planner comes with 2 pen loops. It has 1 pen loop and the fly leaf in the binder, and then the other pen loop is a pen pocket, which I don't use, which is right here. And this opens up and you can stick a pen in there. I don't put anything in there because then it just bumps out at my spine on my planner, and I just think that looks strange, so I don't do anything there. But yeah, I've seen some people who do put a pen in there. So, and that's what that is for. That's another place to put a pen. But as you see, I just have a pen in the fly leaf pen loop, and then I just hook a couple of them on the back pocket. So now we get into the binder section. So my binder section, like I said, I have the front cover of my binder slid into this side pocket here. And then inside the front flap of my binder, inside that pocket, I just have some bank slips, deposit and withdrawal slips for my bank in there. And that's very handy. And then here's the leather fly leaf that comes with it that has the pen loop built into it. And then this decorative ollie clip is cute, but it also serves a purpose. So when you flip it open, normally the leather fly leaves have, I believe it's 3 horizontal card slots on them, but I'm using this instead to keep a notepad. So I just have the notepad slid into the card slot. I had to make my cardboard a little bit shorter for this to work, and I just have it slid into the card slots, and then I just have this ollie clip holding it stable. So that way I have a list pad, because I really like list pads, and there isn't list pad slits in your common Moterm planners, and that is something I wish they did have. So I just set up my own on the inside of the fly leaf, and boy is it coming in handy. I love it. Alright, and then we have my welcome page, which is kind of in this greenish main color, because originally when I made this I was in the mint colored Versa. But I think the metallic gold here kind of goes cute with the taupe too. And I don't usually care about matching things very much anyways, so I'm not going to change this out just because I'm now in the taupe. But yeah, so my front welcome page, it has scriptures on both sides. And the scriptures are in the Young's Literal Translation, and those scriptures are, on the front side, it's Romans 12:2, Mark 11:24, Philippians 4:4, Philippians 4:6-7, Romans 8:28, and 1 John 3:22-23. And then on the other side, I have a heading called the Commandments of the Christian, and then I have the 2 commandments written down as derived from 1 John 3:22-23 and derived from Matthew 22:36-40, which says, 1, believe in the name of his Son Jesus Christ, or thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy understanding. And 2, love one another, or thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And then I have the scripture back here, Matthew 22:36-40. And then I have another heading saying things pleasing before him, fruits of the Spirit. And then under there I have Galatians 5 verses 22-25. So yeah, that's kind of my welcome page, some of my favorite scriptures I like to regularly read over. And then this next page here is just some laminated scrapbook paper. And I have our current family picture on there. And we just took that this past Thanksgiving. It's usually when we do our yearly family photos is on Thanksgiving Day. And then on the other side is a current couples picture of my husband and I. I've dropped weight since that picture. And after I drop a few more pounds, I probably want to do a new couples picture with my husband if he doesn't mind. And on this sheet, I just have one of those tabs at the top that you saw in my card slots earlier in this tour at the top. And the reason why I have this tab here is because right after this is my running grocery list. Like I said, this is my home management binder too. So if I want to flip just quickly to my running grocery list to like add something to the list that I'm running low or out of as I'm going through my day, then I can just open up the binder part of this planner. I can just grab this tab. So it might be right here. I can just grab the tab and just flip it right here so I can get to it quickly. And so this is where I just write things down that I'm low on or that I'm out of, or something that one of the kids would like for us to pick up the next time that we're at the store, etc. And then I just have several sheets of paper there for that. And then after that we come to my 5 main dividers, and I did make new dividers. My last month's setup I had the glitter paper dividers. And glitter paper dividers is fun, but I do tire of glitter. So I do have some non-glitter dividers in here, but a lot of them have little metallic accents on the scrapbook paper, which is pretty. And I make my dividers thin. I make them stiff enough so they're not going to bend over or get worn out like a piece of paper. But I don't like my dividers too thick or they bulk up my rings. And I have these rings stuffed. Speaking of, before I forget, because I almost forgot, if you notice, the rings inside this binder are gold. Alright, now the rings normally come in this is silver. So this came with silver, 25 millimeters, approximately 1-inch rings. So what I did is I have some gold 30 millimeter rings that I had previously purchased from Moterm. So I just took out the silver ones because Moterm planners, the rings are removable with a screwdriver. And I put in these gold rings. And these gold rings are 30 millimeters, which is just shy of 1.25 inches. So I have a lot of room on these rings and I utilize it. I love it. So anyways, my dividers. So I have 5 main dividers in here and I labeled them home, school, budget, reference, assorted, and planning. And how I make my dividers is I use the 3mm laminating sheets, the thinner sheets. I don't use the 5. I have some 5, which I'll use occasionally, but I like the 3mm usually for my dividers. And but if I'm going to make a really stiff dashboard, I'll use the 5mm. And then this is single-sided scrapbook paper. I didn't use cardstock scrapbook paper. I used, it was thicker scrapbook paper, but it wasn't too cardstocky, and it's not double-sided, nor did I fold it over or make it double-sided or add another page on the other side. So they're white on the back, which I'm fine with. And then what I did is on the white back part of my scrapbook paper, I traced out my dividers. Now the template I used for tracing my dividers are these. And these are the monthly tabs for my calendars. So there's, of course, 12 tabs because there's 12 calendars. I made 6 dividers. So, for example, to trace out my first divider, I took January and February here, and I just held them together, and I traced those 2 tabs together like one tab. And then I traced that out. And then, so that's what I did for each of my dividers. So my second divider, I traced out March and April together. My third divider, I traced out May and June together, etc. So I did that on the back white part of the scrapbook paper, and then I just cut it out, laminated it with the 3mm laminating sheet paper, and then I just cut it out, punched it, and labeled it. Really simple. And since I just did 1 sheet of scrapbook paper in the laminate, I did something that a lot of people say is a no-no, but it works good for me. I've done this many times, is I did not leave any laminator edge. My dividers just look like they're thicker laminated paper. There is no laminating edge. I cut right up to the paper. And I've done this many times, and it stays. And if it ever does start coming up, I can just run this through the laminator again, but I usually don't have problems with that. Now, if you're doing thicker cardstock or multiple layers, then you're going to want to definitely leave some laminate edge because you have more chances of it coming apart. But these don't seem to come apart, and they look like professionally done dividers, and it's really awesome. All right, so let's see here. So this is my first homemade divider, and I labeled it home. And there's a little bit of metallic accent gold that you probably can't see. The dots there are metallic gold. All right, so this is my homemaking section. So inside my homemaking section, my first page is my daily chores. So that's mostly my cleaning chores for each day, but I have a few other things on there that aren't cleaning related, like assigned times for like working on the budget or making the menu plan and grocery list for the next week, working on my blog I have written in here, or reminders of some days when if I get my other chores done, I might be able to make a video like I am today. All right, and then the next page after that are my children's chores, and this is their cleaning chores for each day. And then the page facing it is just a page where I wrote children's paid chores tracker at the top. And this is just where I track any chores that they do that they get paid for. And then each Saturday is their pay day, where I will then mark off the chores that they did for that week that are paid chores, and then I'll pay them out each Saturday. So the very next thing is this envelope called paid chores, and I just keep some $1 bills in there usually. So if I'm out and I buy something and I get ones back, I usually stick them in here, and then that way I can pay out their chores. And then if they did a lot of chores, then I will, of course, then move on to giving them a 5 or a 10, etc. But I usually keep ones in here, and then if they do more than $4 worth of chores, then I'll just go into my wallet and grab a 5, etc. So yeah, in this envelope, this is where I like to keep some money for them to pay out to them each week for their paid chores. The next page is labeled table chores. And this is the chores that my children do each day to clean up after each meal. And then after that, I have projects, and this is my deep cleaning and organization projects. So I don't spring clean. I just have all this deep cleaning and organizing projects that I have written down that I just alternate through. Some projects I can just do once a week, because as I usually only get time these days to work on a project once a week. And then I can just do one project a week. Other projects are longer, and I may only be able to work on it 15 minutes to a half hour a week, and then I'll just keep going back to that project during my project time each week until that project is done, and then I move to the next thing on my list. All right, and after that I have my master grocery list, and I do have a little flag sticking out on the top of my master grocery list. And what I use my master grocery list for is when I make my grocery list out for the week, I just skim through my master grocery list, and it helps me get a mental picture of stuff that I may need that I don't have written down on the list. So that's what I use that for. I just skim through it to remind me of anything I might not have thought of. And the reason I have a flag on top of that is because if I grab that flag and flip the page over, it brings me to my menu for each week. So that way I can turn to my menu plan quickly. And I plan out our breakfast, lunches, and suppers for each day, and I plan out their main dishes along with their side dishes. And then after that, I have a list of breakfast ideas. And then I also have lists of lunch ideas and supper ideas. And all these meal ideas, they also contain suggested sides to go with each main dish. And I use my breakfast, lunch, and supper ideas to help me when I'm planning out my menu for the week. And then after that, I have my Thanksgiving and New Year's menus. And then after that, we come to my pink pages. I have a section of pink pages here in my homemaking section. My pink pages are my recipes pages. And I also have a little flag sticking off to the side to help me turn to my pink pages. And you see this is labeled Table of Contents. My pink pages are numbered, and these are my recipes. And then the Table of Contents is just which section of recipes is on which page, because I have it divided up into sections. So flipping to random page here in my recipes, this is what my recipes look like. And recipes take up the rest of my homemaking section. I have a note paper here at the end for any recipes I write in. I do have one written in on that, which is for a really good recipe of baked French toast. And it was the best baked French toast we've ever had, so I had to write that in here because that's going on our breakfast rotation. Okay, now we come to my next homemade divider, which is labeled School, and it looks like this. And this is my homeschooling section. Now, I'm a homeschooling mother of 4, but my 2 oldest children are adults, and they were homeschooled all the way through. I have my first grandchild already. Time flies. My other 2 children are still finishing out homeschool. They're not quite adults yet, and they're both doing homeschool high school. All of my children were and are being homeschooled all the way through. And I homeschool my children via the Trivium method. Always have, always will. That's what works for us. So if you're looking at different homeschooling methods for your children, I suggest one of the methods you seriously research be the Trivium method. So this is my homeschooling section, and I like the kiwis. I just thought that was cute for the homeschool divider. So the first page in here is our homeschool schedule for the current homeschool year. And that just says, on what day we're doing what during what time blocks. And we homeschool year-round, Monday through Thursday, taking the month of July off. And that's how we've always done it. All right, and then after that, the next 2 pages is the current homeschool year's curriculum chart or course of study. So this is what subjects we're teaching and what materials for which grades, etc., and any notes. And then after that, I have their reading lists. And then next to that is their copywork assignments. And then after that, I have our general school for Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. And then just some note paper when I need to write down anything, or when we're in the summertime, we start finishing up some subjects and some books, and then we'll start doing more projecty stuff. And so I'll usually write that on the paper back here. Okay, and then my next homemade divider is labeled budget, and it looks like this. And as it's labeled, so it is. This is my budgeting section. So the first page of my budgeting section is a printout that I titled Budget Guide. And I have it divided up for each paycheck that we get for each month, where I have reoccurring expenses listed on it. Some of them auto withdraw from the bank. Some of them I still pay manually myself, which is what I prefer. And so I just have divided out which expense I've assigned to which paycheck throughout the month. So I reference this whenever I am making or going over our budget. And after that, the rest of my budget section is just filler paper. I don't use any inserts or printouts. I just write the date of the check at the top of the paper. I will reference my budget guide to see which recurring expenses are assigned to that check. I then write those down on the paper and how much each one is, or if I don't know yet because I'm waiting on a bill, then I'll base it off of the previous month bill or just kind of do an estimation until I have a more accurate number. And then I'll subtract those from the total of the check or the expected total of the check if I budget ahead, and I do try to budget at least a few months ahead. And then I'll look at, with the leftover money, I will look at, okay, well, what extra expenses do we have coming up? I'll look at the monthly calendar for that pay period for that check, and I'll say, oh, well, you know, we have a dentist appointment or whatnot, and then that gets calculated in there. And then I subtract everything from the check to see how much we have left over that goes towards savings, fun, birthdays, stuff like that. All right, so that's what all the rest of the budgeting section is. My next homemade divider is labeled reference. And you see the pineapples are semi-metallic. So almost all my dividers have some type of metallic accent, which I thought was really cute. So the first page of my reference section is a table of contents, because all of the pages in my reference section are numbered. And what I have in here are gift ideas, kids grocery week checklist, stock list, perpetual calendar, codes, family information, directions, contacts like phone and addresses and whatnot, and then food, which is kind of a list of some of the general foods that we eat and their nutritional value and whatnot for when I'm food tracking or food journaling. All right, so then we move to the next divider, which is labeled assorted. It looks like that. This is one of the few dividers that doesn't have anything, any like metallic shiny accents, but it's cute. All right, and so inside assorted, the first part of assorted is just brain dump, scratch paper, and I have various things written down in there. And then I have a little flag sticking at the top. If I flip to that flag, it brings me to extra filler paper for my planner. So I have a variety of paper in here. This is Moterm paper. This is cut down from a list pad. So yeah, I just have a variety of different papers in here. This is from another list pad. And here's some Franklin Covey Blooms. Here's some Filofax lined. So yeah, I just have a variety of paper in here. Here's some Filofax graph paper, etc. So this is where I keep extra filler paper. That way, if I need more paper in my grocery section, my budget section, my homeschooling section, my menu, whatever, I can grab it from here. And when this gets low, as you recall, in one of my pockets in this awesome planner, I have some extra filler paper that I could always grab from. So after that, we come to my last homemade divider, which is labeled planning. And this one has some metallic accents inside the flowers and some dots. And I thought that was just a cute divider for my planning divider. So inside planning, the first thing we come to are months on 2 pages for the whole year of 2021. And I'm using at a glance month on 2 pages. So this is February. I flip to February, and here is the February divider. So it's just calendars, months on it, nothing really fancy. And then going inside here is my February month on 2 pages. I love month on 2 pages. And I do a lot of tracking in here too, a lot of health things. I'll have different letter codes that I'll put inside of little squares or little circles where I'm tracking various things. For example, an H inside a square would be a headache if I had like a bad headache, and I'm in the fun of perimenopause and I do get some hormonal headaches, so I do like to track those. And then just various different health things like that. I, of course, track my periods here, which have been getting kind of weird. And so it's even more helpful at my age to really, really track the menstrual cycles or lack thereof and see what's going where and what's happening. So I do a lot of letter codes of tracking in here, and of course I also write down things that are coming up, appointments. I write down reoccurring things in here. I write down trash day on each of the trash days, otherwise I just forget. So I'll write that down. I have a couple of birthdays here in February as well. So just things like that. So like I said, I have the whole year of 2021 in here, month on 2 pages. And then I come to my today page marker, where I have day on 2 pages, and this is at a glance as well. So here is page 1 of today, and then I flip this page over, and here is page 2 of today. And this page marker, I don't even know what brand this is. This was just a cheap one I got a few years ago off of Amazon. I love it because it's clear, it's thin, and has inches and centimeters on it, which is really handy. And then I have a laminated master schedule, my master schedule, and I have the whole slit so I can just pop it in and out of the rings just like the page finder without having to open the rings. And I keep a tab on the top of my master schedule, and that just makes it easier where if I need to flip between page 1 and page 2 for the day, if I grab the tab, it's easier to flip it than trying to grab the edge of the page. So yeah, this is laminated. It's double-sided. It's the same on both sides. So I can see my master schedule if I'm looking at this page, and I see my same master schedules. It's the same master schedule on this side if I'm looking on this page. And my master schedule is broken down into time blocks. And then each thing under each time block is numbered. So I have morning, late morning and afternoon, late afternoon, evening, and before bed. All right, so let me flip a few pages over here so I can show you what blank day on 2 pages look like of what I'm using. And this is, I believe it's called Seascapes. So this is by At a Glance size 3. And At a Glance size 3 is the same size, the exact same size as Filofax Personal or Daytimer Portable. And At a Glance is way cheaper. So yes, it's At a Glance Seascapes. And I don't know if you can tell, but we have like some watermarked scenery in the background there. So you could spend between $40 to $60 getting similar day on 2 pages through Franklin Covey or a Daytimer, or you can get it from At a Glance. And I got these month on 2 pages, day on 2 pages for the whole year for $16 and some odd cents and free 2-day shipping on my Amazon Prime. So instead of spending $50 or $50-something with Daytimer or Franklin Covey, I got the same thing with At a Glance, and it's fabulous. So here's its general layout and how I use it. So you have your month calendar up here, so if you need to reference what's on what day, you don't have to flip to your month. You can just reference it right there, which is handy. All right, and then right down here, this is your task or your to-do list. So you have a column where you can write down ABC priorities, so you can prioritize them or order them, and then you have your checkoff column. And you have a little key here on what different types of bullets or checkoffs you can do if you want to follow their key, which is pretty much the same as a Franklin Covey key. So you point an arrow at it if it's something you're forwarding to a future day. They have a dash. I use a dot if it's something that's in process, but that's not going to be finished that day. And then you can exit out, put an X there, or a circle with a line through it if it's something that's canceled. If it's something that's delegated, you can, for example, put the person's initials there. And if it's something that you have completed, you can check mark it. And my items, after I put their check mark, X, dot, or arrow, I also put a line through them as well. Otherwise, if I have a lot of things on this list, which sometimes I do, it's harder for my eyes to keep track. So I will check them off and put a line through them. Okay, and then this column here, this is your schedule or appointments column, and this is timed. So it has times on it. And what I do is I'll write down certain things during the day. It has to be done at a certain time or appointments. those will get written down here. And then I'll sometimes plug some other things in between those timed things that want to make sure that I have a rhythm to my day. And this will correlate almost always perfectly with my master schedule. So I don't write down my whole schedule here because it's on my master schedule. But some days, if we have appointments or things or birthdays or whatnot, then my master schedule is out the window. Can't use it that day. So in those days, I will write out the complete day schedule here. Otherwise, I just write timed things and appointments over here, just general things like that. And then the other section we have on the first page is down here. It says expenses. On Franklin Covey pages, it usually says like tracker, I believe. And I just do tracking down here, which usually is expenses and health stuff or any projects that I'm working on. And then the second page, it says daily diary / notes. And I use this as my notes page. So what I do is at the top, I will write down my planned breakfast, lunches, and suppers that I grab from my menu section and my homemaking section. And then if there's any food preps that I need to do for the next day's meals, I'll write that down here as well. And then also in my homemaking section, I'll look at my cleaning and daily chores for that day, and I'll write them down here. And then I write down the children's scheduled cleaning chores here. And then I'll leave the bottom open for food journaling or taking any notes. So if I need to jot down a phone number, an email address, an address or something for something I'm doing that day, I just put it on the notes page. So that's how I use the day on 2 pages, and I absolutely love it. And I keep 1 month at a time of day on 2 pages in here. So when February is over, I'll remove the February day on 2 pages, and then I'll put in the March day on 2 pages after the March calendar. All right, so moving past all the planning pages and calendars, I then have a Moterm sheet of paper here at the back, and at the top I labeled it Future Planning 2022 Plus, and I already have several things written on that. All right, and then after that, I have another handy laminated paper envelope, and this is just for like papers or any special coupons or any little doodads that I might need to have with me when I'm out and about. And then I have a zip pocket, which is empty. This is for if I decide I need a smaller binder, then I can move my wallet into my binder and take it. Because, let me show you, the binder slides out. I would have slid it out on camera, but I have tennis elbow, and that would have hurt. So, yeah, the binder part slides out. So you can just stick this in your purse if you don't want to bring this with you. So I keep, see if I can slide that back in. So I keep that plastic zipper pocket at the back so that if I'm going to bring just that binder part with me, then I can just move my wallet stuff into here and have my change in there. And it's a quick switch over. All right, and then after that I have my back page lifter, and I have reoccurring labels and events on there that I will just stick on the proper time slots or time area on my master schedule when needed. For example, the one I use the most says crock pot. So if we're going to have a crock pot meal the next day, then I will prep it during my food prep time the day before and then stick it in the fridge, and then I'll put my crock pot label in my morning routine on my master schedule so that when I get up the next day I'll see, oh, I need to get the crock pot out of the fridge and get it going, slow cooking our supper all day. So that's the one I use the most. I also have one in there for oven, like if I'm doing a do-ahead French toast bake, then that'll remind me, oh, it's in the fridge, I just need to take it out and get it going in the oven, and it can cook in the oven while I go through the rest of my morning routine. All right, and then after that we just have the back cover of the binder. There's no pockets on the back cover because originally the back cover is supposed to slide into the back pocket. But like I said, I have the front cover slid into the front pocket because I like how that sits better. Slid into the back pocket, I have a Zequins notebook. It's the height of a B6, but it is slimmer. And what's cool about it being slimmer is I can now have these 2 pens next to it, and there's no problems there. And the Zequins notebooks come with their own magnetic bookmark, which is awesome. And this is a lined one. You can get them lined, blank, grid. And right now I'm just using this to put in some Bible study notes and some Bible reference notes to have with me on some studies that I am currently actively working on. So yeah, this is my complete home management binder and my planner, and it's pretty much everything. And it all fits inside this beauty. And again, this is a personal size Moterm Versa. I think you can usually find them on AliExpress. I get mine off of Amazon because I'm usually too impatient to wait for a month for my stuff to arrive from AliExpress, and I don't want to pay express shipping when I can get these off of Amazon. With Amazon Prime, I can get it within a few days usually. Now my black one is on back order, but it's supposed to arrive here in a little bit, and that's fine. I'm enjoying my taupe, so that's fine with me. But this is a genuine leather. It is really, really good quality. It's fairly comparable to the Giulio Mia Caras, if you're familiar with those, but way, way cheaper. So yeah, the thing is, if you can get them off of Amazon, you have to regularly check, because when they get these in stock, they don't stay in stock long. So if you see one in stock and it's one you want to get, you got to jump at it. You can't come back later and expect it to still be there, because chances are it could be gone within minutes of you seeing it. So I really love the Versas. It is fabulous and very versatile. Have a blessed day.